evening and welcome to Season 2, Episode 18 of the Pack Homer Podcast, joined by my buddies Adam and Wes. The Pack is headed to Auburn, Alabama as the 2 seed in the Auburn Regional. It is the 19th regional appearance in Coach Avent's 22 years at NC State, I think I read, and the first regional appearance for NC State the year following a College World Series appearance. So the previous 2 times that Coach Avent has taken us to the College World Series, the year after, we have failed to make the postseason. So that's a small victory. Before we get to breaking down the 4 teams in the Auburn Regional, we'll start with our quick trip to Durham because that's what it was. we took the 30-minute bus ride over to Durham, took batting practice, in the infield, outfield, played 9 innings, and came home. Our ACC championship hopes ended with a loss to the Clemson Tigers, 7-6, and Clemson ends up the runner-up in the ACC tournament. They lost, of course, in the championship game to the team from Chapel Hill to add insult to injury, but. Not going to talk about the game a whole lot, but I guess long story short, it was a single fest. There were 28 hits in the game. Clemson had 16. We had 12. There were only 3 extra base hits the entire game. Josh Hogue hit a double. Clemson had a triple where Ty had probably a ball he would say he should have caught, but it would have been a phenomenal play. But he ran into the wall, missed a fly ball that turned into a triple. And then their catcher, Jacob Jarrell, hit a home run off Anderson Nance. But anyway, out of the 16 hits Clemson had, they had 13 singles. 11 of the Pack's 12 hits were singles. Pack loses 7-6 in a game that you really just hated to see Dom Fritton not come out of there somehow with a win. He didn't take the loss. Anderson Nance did, but Dom, I thought, was fantastic through 5 innings, gave up 3 runs. Anderson Nance came in and just, quite honestly, wasn't the Anderson Nance we've seen all year. Clemson got to him a little bit. I think probably the consensus among Pack fans is we probably went to Jacob Duden, maybe a batter or two too late. But I thought the big story in the game, and I know, Adam, you were pretty busy and only saw maybe pieces of it. But Wesley, I thought the big story in the game was we lost 7-6. We didn't play what anyone would call inspiring or pretty baseball, but we had a chance to win. And gosh, I felt like one of the big stories in the game was we ran the bases extremely poorly.
Yes, and we forgot how to field a bunt as well.
Correct. Clemson had 7 runs in the game, and 2 of the runs they drove in, they had 2 RBI bunts. 2 of their 7 runs were off bunts. We could not get a hit when we had to. Well, a couple of times we had, I think Sosa drove in one to take the lead late, but we just it was a sloppy game. We had a double play ball up the middle, a ground out early in the game where we get stranded on third and don't run. We kind of froze thinking it was a line drive. Late in the game, tried to stretch a single into a double, and they went from right field to catcher to second base and threw us out, gunned a runner down in a huge situation for us. That would have been the time run. So we had another blunder where we didn't go from first to third on a single, and next ball we score easily on a hit, and we're unable to do so. I don't even want to try to rehash all the base running mistakes we made in that game, but we ran the bases really bad. I
think the comment you made, Cal, was if we had ran the bases like a good high school team, we would have won the game.
That is probably exactly the comment I made. And high school teams don't always run the bases good, but if we ran the bases like a good high school team, we'd have won the baseball game. And that's despite, whatever you think about when we made decisions in the bullpen, all that stuff out the window. We just it was sloppy, and we lost 7-6 to a team that's a host in the NCAA tournament. So still a lot in front of us. I think we got a good team, but as Wesley said this weekend, I'll go ahead and agree with him before we even start breaking these teams down. I wouldn't be surprised if we go to Auburn and win the regional, and I wouldn't be surprised if we go to Auburn and play 2 games. I hate to say that, but I'd be pretty disappointed if we played 2 games because I'd assume that means we lost to Stetson and Central Connecticut. But if we made a quick exit, we haven't hit the ball in timely situations in weeks. We hadn't hit a ball out of the ballpark since when was it, Wesley? Was it Novi?
Yeah, it's been a while. I just think the disappointing part about the ACC tournament, I mean, other than this another one we didn't win, is that after the Stanford letdown, you really hope that you come out crisp, and we didn't at all. With all the mistakes and fundamentals. So I guess maybe the reset here we got what 8 days where we're off that we can come out crisp and no one's gonna accuse us of getting hot too early this year. So now is the time to the time to get hot in Auburn, Alabama.
Yeah, and we still got some. I mean, our arms are exciting. I mean, you feel like they can beat anybody. You probably even feel like our pitching staff's even better suited for a super because we have 2 elite arms and a great bullpen.
Yeah, you were talking about being disappointed if we go to Auburn and go 0-2 with an early exit. It would really to think about the 2 starters that we have and then the pieces out of the bullpen that we have, and to kind of squander that would be really disappointing, certainly. Because I mean, when it comes to postseason, it's all about pitching. You have 2 elite pitchers and a solid bullpen, which we feel like we got 3 or 4 really solid pieces in the pen. That's what wins this time of year.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about it a little bit. So the 4 teams in the Auburn Regional, and we'll talk a little bit at the end of the show about a couple of the other regionals, but won't get into it too much. But the 4 teams in the Auburn Regional are, of course, Auburn the host, 38-18 out of the SEC. NC State is the 2 seed in the Auburn Regional, 33-19 out of the ACC. Stetson is the 3 seed out of the A-Sun, 40-20 overall, number 63 in RPI. By the way, NC State is at RPI 34, and Auburn was the number 3 RPI team in the country. And then the 4th seed in the Auburn Regional is Central Connecticut out of the Northeast Conference, 31-15 overall. 182nd RPI, only played 2 quad 1 and 2 opponents all year, went 0-2 in those games. I think the highest rated team Central Connecticut played all year was Northeastern. But I think, on paper, a very winnable regional. We talked about before we were selected, there was thoughts we may go to Vanderbilt, thoughts that we may go to Baton Rouge, Coastal Carolina, which I don't think we would have objected to going down, being the 2 seed in Conway with Coastal and East Carolina. But Auburn it is. And the first game we'll talk about is game 1 between Auburn and Central Connecticut, the 1 and 4 seed. And because we're going to play, we could stand to play any of these 4 teams, we'll talk about each matchup and those teams. I think Mr. Wilson is our Auburn expert. So what do you got about the Tigers there, Wes?
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't say expert, but I mean, to Kyle's point, I don't think Auburn's the fourth seed. Uh, you know, just looking on paper, it doesn't appear that Auburn's elite in any way to necessarily justify a 4 seed that we might have seen in the seedings in previous years. But they do have some really good series wins, against the number 1 seed Vandy, Kentucky, Alabama. They swept LSU, Mississippi State, and Tennessee. The series losses, they were swept by Georgia, swept by Texas, lost the series to Ole Miss, and they lost the first round of the tournament to Texas A&M. So they lost the last 3 out of 4 games of their season. Themselves. So, they're not necessarily coming in smoking hot. And if you look across the board, I mean, again, there's no not necessarily elite talent. They do have a player who's top 20 in MLB uh, prospects. Ike Irish, 16 home runs, batting 352, and he can be a game changer. So overall record, they were 38 and 18. But again, I don't see anything that makes you think, man, we're going to go play a top 5 team in the country at their home field. Comparing Auburn to LSU or Arkansas or Mississippi State, those types of environments, it's just not necessarily the same. So I think that's an advantage to us as well. And, I think that, I guess I'm supposed to only talk about Auburn right this second, but man, I got faith in Avent. Everybody gets down on Coach Avent, and this is the time that, when you get down on him, things turn around. So I have quite a bit of confidence that we have the capability of going to Auburn and winning this damn thing.
What you got there in your mason jar there, Wesley?
Man, from Buffalo Trace Distillery, some Eagle Rare.
Is that one? Is that my
Hey,
bottle from your
me,
wedding? I
me,
still have.
It looked a little darker
yeah,
than Mountain Dew.
man. We this past weekend is Memorial Day weekend, and I drank every beer that Harris Teeter sold for 3 days in a row, and I couldn't bring myself to drink one more beer, so I had to switch to
Had to
Eagle tonight.
switch from guns to missiles.
That's right.
Wesley
Yeah,
is. Go ahead, Adam.
no, I was just going to say, I mean, you hit on it a little bit, Wes, about talking about Auburn getting the number 4 national seed. I mean, honestly, I think it's pretty, not just because, I mean, obviously not because it's Carolina, but it's kind of hard to believe that Carolina, you know, number 1 overall team in, uh, I think nearly every poll. USA Today, D1, both have them number 1 overall.
Well, coaches poll, I know for sure for
Yeah,
Carolina.
D1's got them number 1 too, and the fact that they didn't get one of those top 4 seeds is I think, a pretty big snub on the ACC in general. The fact that they gave them all to the SEC to a team that lost out in the first round of the tournament. Granted, Auburn does have the number 1 strength of schedule, I think, and number 3 maybe RPI, but still, 7
Yeah, I don't know.
games
It's just hard. I mean, the RPI is weighted. It appears to be so heavily towards the SEC team. So um, I have a hard time believing that. Well, I mean, the team in Chapel Hill shouldn't have been a top 4 seed.
Correct. Yeah, agreed.
Um,
And
I mean,
I think Auburn's way overseeded. So
and it was like I thought like last week we were wondering if Vanderbilt was going to be a host or not, and then all of a sudden they were the they were the number 1 team in the country. So that kind of came out of left field to me. But in terms of the pitching for Auburn, I mean they're about like us in terms of pitching. They got a guy Christian Chatterton that against Tennessee threw 9 scoreless innings and struck out 12. So they definitely have some capable guys. Just over a four ERA on those guys. But again, I don't think they have necessarily the guy that uh, that Carolina's going to put out there on Friday night or some of these other teams. So I mean, again, winnable from what you can see on paper, but I never watched Auburn play this season. Um, but again, they were swept by Georgia and Texas, so that means they're vulnerable on Fridays and Saturdays. They do lose games on Fridays and Saturdays. I know the like opponent that we played this year, Wright State. I'm not sure. I didn't go into the analytics like Cal may have on that. But we did have a couple of like opponents from Auburn this year.
Yeah, they did win 2 out of 3 over Alabama, who we played, and lost to early in the season in Jacksonville. They beat Ohio State 13-0 in 7 innings.
Hey,
The
hey,
one,
hey,
the one. Go ahead.
we just want, and outside of this regional, I mean, all 3 of us, and we've mentioned this a couple times on the podcast. When we watched Ohio State play in Jacksonville, we were like, "Oh my God, this is amazing! What here is done in a few months in
yeah, they're going to win the Big Ten.
Columbus." And they are so bad.
Yeah,
What possibly could have happened to that team? Um, And I guess, I mean, ultimately they ran into some depth issues at pitching, I'm sure, but I would have never thought that they would have been one of the worst teams in the country, which, you know, it was a big hit to our RPI, you know, whenever we dropped that game. And I mean, they didn't just beat us. I mean, it was a damn, it was a ass beating.
It didn't
It
really feel
didn't,
like we were going to
it
win
never,
there after the
it
fifth.
never, it never felt close. I mean, maybe their advantage, I think it was about 60 degrees with a 35-mile-an-hour wind that day, but they just felt like the better team whenever we met them in Jacksonville.
One of the things that stuck out to me about Auburn, if you look at them, and we'll either see, as Wesley said, we'll see Christian Chatterton or Samuel Dutton if we were to meet up with Auburn. Samuel Dutton is the brother. I don't know if you guys saw the Auburn story. Guy sat on the bench all year. Andrew Dutton, I think he's like a Division III transfer. Got one at bat, hit a home run, hit one home. So he's 1-for-1 in his Auburn career with a home run. Anyway, Samuel Dutton or Chatterton, who we'll see. But one of the things that stuck out to me on paper, which I don't really think it affects us much because we don't steal bases anyway. If you look at this regional, of all the teams in the region, Auburn has stolen 63 bases. Central Connecticut has stolen 67. Stetson's stolen 128 bags. We've only swiped 28, but Auburn has a really good catcher. I think his name is Chase Fralick. Only 27 stolen bases allowed all year by Auburn. So swiping bags against the Tigers could be a little bit dicey.
We are the 61st ranked stolen base team in the tournament.
Woo-wee.
Yeah, and Stetson is number 3.
Yeah, and that you would have thought when you look at our, you know, home runs that maybe going into the season we might have changed kind of our strategy behind, you know, how we were gonna get some guys around the base pass. And, you know, even with the lack of power that we have, we still bases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we have decent speed at some positions too, but it is what it is.
We'll talk about Central Connecticut real quick. I'm not going to go on a long time about them. Like I said, 182nd in RPI, but Central Connecticut can really hit. A lot of that's probably the product of the league they play in, but they're hitting 334 as a team, and
Which is tops in the tournament.
Tops in the tournament. And if my numbers are right, Aiden Redahan is the leading hitter in America, and he plays for Central Connecticut. He's hitting 458 with 9 home runs. Only has struck out 11 times all year. So
they've only struck out 254 times, which is also the fewest in the tournament.
It's a crazy stat too, because when you compare them to, you know, us, we're a team that don't strike out much. We struck out 316 times against much better competition, of course. But Central Connecticut puts the ball in play a lot. Got a 5.58 ERA. They don't really have anybody that on paper you're like, oh my God. I guess Vincent Borghese is who they'll start against Auburn. Got a 4.22 ERA in 14 starts. Struck out 89 in 85 innings, which is, you know, a very respectable number. But I don't really think he's going to probably go out and carve up a SEC lineup. But stranger things have happened. Was it Central Connecticut a couple of years ago that was in the South Carolina regional in Columbia? Had a really good Friday night guy. I can't remember. But anyway, certainly a team that hadn't played the competition. We had not big bashers. They've hit 36 home runs, which is that could be one of the lowest numbers in the tournament. Do you got that in front of you, Adam?
Home runs 61st, so the same as our stolen base.
Stolen bases. Yeah. So pitching wise, they don't walk a lot of guys. In this regional, they've walked the fewest number of guys. They've only walked 160 batters, struck out 303.
They've got about the lowest strikeout percentage, both among starters and relief pitchers, though.
They might not
62nd in the tournament.
I wouldn't read too much into their home run total. They might not even have a fence at their home field. You don't know, man.
The other interesting number you talk about, they hadn't played the level of competition as us. Their strength of schedule is 294.
Ooh.
294.
That's hard to do. They play 2 quad 1 and 2 opponents the entire season.
18 teams in the country that have played a weaker schedule.
Oof. Whew.
Yeah.
So that's Auburn and Central Connecticut. Now the game that interests us the most in the opening round there, Stetson and NC State. We don't got to talk about NC State a ton, but we can compare them to Stetson. Stetson, fun fact, is located in the hometown of Mr. Adam Litch. Maybe not the hometown, but his current town.
4 miles from my house is their field.
DeLand, Florida. Me and Adam actually went to a regional hosted by the Stetson Hatters. I don't remember what year that was, Adam, but it's when they had the righty Logan Gilbert,
Logan Gilbert, yeah. Mm-hmm.
and he's of course was a first round draft pick, and I think he might even made an All Star game now. They have two Cy Young Award winners, Adam.
Yeah, Corey Kluber and Jacob DeGrom.
All right, so look, what you got on the Hatters, Adam?
They also have a pitching alumni who I think in 1996 was the Cape Cod Player of the Summer, a guy by the name of Mr. Clint Chrysler.
Ooh,
Is
fun fact.
Is a fun fact, Stetson alum. Yeah, so like, we talk about this sometime, but like Wesley has East Carolina, that's his safety school. Mine would be Stetson. It's kind of my backup team if things go south. They played, was it last year they played at UNC? Or has that been a couple, maybe 2 years ago now? I can't remember. Stetson played at UNC in
That is correct.
Was it last year?
I think it was last year.
Didn't they win that regional and go play at UNC too in the Super?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
The year they went and played in the Super. Yeah, exactly. That's been a couple years ago, but anyway, yeah, they've got they got a 40-20 overall record. Their RPI is 63, strength of schedule 129. They are not a great hitting team. Batting average, 279 batting average. They're only slugging 402, which is 61st in the tournament. Cal already mentioned stolen bases. They've swiped 128 bags, which is third in the tournament. I think the real thing that really sets them apart is Mr. Jonathan Gonzalez, John Goat, starting pitcher for the Hatters. 14 starts, 9-2 overall record, a 1.95 ERA, which I think is probably top 5 nationally, top 5 or top 6 nationally.
A dude.
He struck out 101 in 87 innings. And I mentioned 1.95 overall ERA. He's got a 1.67 ERA in the A-Sun, the conference that Stetson plays in. Cal, I forgot the stat you said. Well, you said he'd given up 7 runs in 17 innings versus Power 5 teams this year.
Correct.
Obviously, who we think we'll see Friday afternoon. He's definitely the leader of that staff. And after him, it's not nearly as intimidating, but they do have a kid, Ty Van Dyke, who has 26 appearances. He's pitched 43 innings. He's 7-0 with a 1.04 ERA.
With 65 punch-outs in 43
with
innings.
65 punch-outs, exactly, in 43 innings, yeah. And the other thing on John Go that I didn't mention, 101 punch-outs, 18 walks. So that's a little better than 5-1.
Yeah, he's the real deal. And he's a 5'11" lefty.
Yeah, a little short guy.
But, hey, man. Oh. That's above average.
Hitting wise, mentioned, as a team, they've hit 282 on the year, I think, or 279, 282, one of those numbers. They're led by a former Wolfpacker. How do you say his last name? Isaiah
Barquette,
whose dad was also a Wolfpacker. and played 12 years in the big leagues after his time in Raleigh. What year was Barquette at Penn State? I forgot. It was 2022.
I think you're right. I think you're
Yeah,
right.
but he's leading the team with a 380 batting average. Has only got interesting. He's got 79 hits, but only 15 extra base hits and only 27 RBIs. But batting 380. Um,
Another fun stat about Mr. Barquette that must have rubbed off on him on his time in Raleigh is he's only punched out 8 times in 208 at bats. So uh, you're going to have to throw it over the plate, and you're going to have to field it because he's probably going to put it in play. Pretty safe bet.
and he hadn't walked. He hadn't walked. He's only walked 23 times. I mean, that's like 7th or 8th on the team, in walks. But yeah, all the other starters. There's no other starter that has less than 34 punch outs, 34, 38 punch outs.
Yeah,
And he's got 8.
and he's still second when he gets on because he's stolen
He
30.
does.
He's stolen more bags than our entire team. He's got 30 stolen bases.
They have another guy who's stolen more bags than our entire team, don't they?
Yeah, Juan De La Cruz.
Yeah.
So the Hatters, they're a formidable opponent. I mean, they play good teams. They recruit Florida. I mean, Jonathan Gonzalez is from Miami.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, they play. Obviously they have a lot of really good midweek games like we do. I mean, they're playing. Florida State, UCF. They always play like a home and home with Florida. So they get to see some good teams, and they generally have a good early season. Opponents because they're coming into playing the warm weather, generally. So. Yeah, I think they're definitely going to be a tough opponent there. They got a Trimper, their coach, really good guy. He does a lot he's a big supporter of DeLand Little League, and he's out at the games a lot. And he comes and throws the opening pitch, and they have a DeLand Little League day at the park and at one of the Hatters games. And he's just real involved in the community. Really good guy, and so yeah, they're going to be a well coached team. Obviously, we see they got the ability to get on base and swipe some bags. Not hitting for a tremendous amount of power at any point in long. They do have a guy with 11 home runs. I missed
So
that.
what was the deal? Wasn't there something they didn't play the championship
Oh
game?
yeah, so interestingly enough, they were playing Florida Gulf Coast. They were in the winners bracket. Stetson was. They play a double elimination conference tournament. They were playing Florida Gulf Coast, FGCU, I guess they just call it the abbreviation now. Playing FGCU, this was Sunday night, or Sunday at noon, the game started. They got 6 innings in, and FGCU was up, I think 6-5. They were up 1. And several rain delays Sunday afternoon. They took the tarp off the field a couple times, lightning delays. And then, so they needed to finish that game to play the clinching game, and the if necessary game, and that was set to start immediately following the first game. Well, I was reading that they said that per the NCAA rules, the winner had to be decided by the time of the selection show. So I'm thinking, are they going to try to finish this one and then play the next one on Monday morning? Because it did rain pretty hard off and on, but they ultimately called the tournament, and they gave both FGCU and Stetson the designation of co-champions of the ASUN tournament. But Stetson got the automatic bid. And I guess, what was that? I said something to y'all. They said it was decided by the conference, or the conference decided that, I guess because they were the higher seed. And Stetson was actually hosting the tournament. It was at Stetson Stadium this past weekend.
Huh.
Um, so yeah, kind of a little bit of
Did they win the regular season tournament? They
the
did.
regular, the overall regular season. They were 24-6.
I think they won the
Okay.
regular season is why they
Yeah, we're
that's part
named.
of the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I don't think that was why they were hosting, though. I think it was already determined that they were going to host a tournament. Maybe that was because they were the winner from the year before. So I'm not really sure what determined that, but I know they. Um, I know it had been it had been said for a while that they were going to be hosting the tournament. So that wasn't dependent on them winning the regular season, I don't think. But yeah, interestingly enough, they played. Stetson played 8 neutral site games.
Yeah. And took a trip out to Provo, Utah.
Yep.
One of the things that I'd say about Stetson too that you kind of already alluded to. I mean, they're not even playing us on it. They're playing us at a neutral site, but they're not going to be intimidated by any environment. I mean, they played at Florida. They played at Florida State. They went to Miami and won 11-2. They've played Notre Dame. They've played UCF. Um, so I don't think like they're going to walk in the stadium and I think Central Connecticut may be a little bit more in all of the environment than Stetson's going to be because they've played in some big time baseball environments, and just from being from the state of Florida, I mean all those kids down there. Baseball is such a big deal in Florida, just like it is here in North Carolina. Those kids have played in a lot of big environments. So talking about the pack, if I was going to be an unbiased uh, observer of the pack, I guess some of the big news for us would be that Mr. McHugh did play in the ACC tournament. He had 2 hits. He's hitting 378 for us now in the season. Um, I mean, I think it's a little bit concerning. I don't remember the last time Chris McHugh had a home run. Maybe at Cal. It's been a long time. But that's a guy that can get hot and carry you. Um, you know, we expect to see. I mean, at this point, I expect to see Fritz and Marone in any order, and then Andrews. I mean, Nance. We've kind of relegated that guy to the bullpen. I don't know if anything changes. If we were to somehow go out and throw 2 games, or say Duden was able to throw the ninth of 2 straight games, I don't know if that would change anything. But anyway, you expect it to be. Frit and Marone and Nance. I think Van Dam, I mean, hated we didn't get to see any innings from him in the ACC tournament because he threw so good in his last outing against Stanford. But a bullpen that you have some options. We can match up left on left. I think Auburn's got quite a bit of left-hand hitters in their lineup too. So the fact that we can run out 2 really really quality lefties. The thing about State, I think, if I'm giving the scout report on State, is because they're not very aggressive on the bases and because they kind of leave a little bit to be desired home run wise compared to a lot of the NC State teams. Um, you really just got to make plays in the field because they're not going to punch out a lot, and you got to hope that they don't uh, get hot and start stringing hits together because NC State can do that. We've seen us score runs in bunches, um, but probably not going to beat you to death with a long ball. We're not gonna take off and swipe bags. I don't expect a whole lot. So talking about NC State guys, uh, what are you guys looking for from us? I mean, I still think like we got to find a little juice. I mean, it's just been like a power outage. I mean, we had 1 extra base hit in the Clemson game. I think against Stanford. Other than the Novi home run, I think that was the only home run we hit that entire series. Usually the ball starts flying a little farther when it gets warmer. Uh, we are not. Somebody's going to have to hit the ball out of the yard. Do you guys agree? I mean, we thought Nixon did it in the ninth inning against Clemson
Man,
and flew out to the
that
warning track.
cameraman. Same with one of Sosa's, the cameraman. Man, as soon as it go back, the cameraman was looking straight up, like holy smokes. But yeah, no, I agree. I mean, whether we throw, I'm assuming we're going to throw Marone against Stetson. That's my assumption.
I would think
Uh,
so.
you're gonna Marone's ability to go deep in games. If we could get Marone, through 7 or 8, I mean, and we actually have a little bit of offense. I mean, how big of an advantage is that going into what you assume to be the Auburn game. But yeah, I mean, we got to have somebody step up, and I think it was the last at bat against Clemson. It looked like, uh, when he swung the bat, he was favoring his hand. Um, so hopefully that's not something that's hopefully it's just sore. Um,
That was McHugh you're talking
McHugh, yeah,
about?
McHugh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
McHugh. Hopefully that's just something to sore, but it did appear that he was still favoring, the hand injury. But I mean, I don't think that's anything keeping him from there being I mean, the 8 days off, like we said, is going to be important. But again, you're just looking for somebody to step up, and uh, who that'll be, who knows? I mean, I saw something on Twitter today. They said that Luke's, uh, you know, long fly ball would have been 4 rows deep at Auburn. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what it said on X or Twitter today. So, Durham is a big part, but I think what I'm looking for is just for offensively somebody to step up. I mean, the pitching's been consistent enough, and Marone and especially Dom. Dom's not going to be intimidated in that environment, and we know Marone will not either. So just offensively, someone to step up, and eventually, even if you're, and I'm not saying we're a bad offensive team, but even bad offensive teams have a breakout game occasionally. So we're due for sure.
And you can't get it any fresher than Ryan Marone and Andrew Schaffner. And they haven't thrown in
Yeah.
two weeks. And Shane Van
And it
Dam,
would be nice. It would be nice to Wes's point if to get a strong start from assumingly Marone and be able to hit the ball and get a. I mean, again, which is not going to be an easy task versus Django, but to get to get a lead and be able to save somebody and maybe bring Andrews in to finish it out.
yeah, I mean, I just you gotta I don't want to be in a 1 or 2 run ball game late with them
No,
because the way they run the bases, uh, God, they put a lot of pressure on you. And honestly, I feel like that's who we haven't played that good against is the teams that go out and push the issue. I think UNC does a good job of that on the base pass. Clemson is aggressive in how they play. Ohio State early, who's not a very good baseball team, was really aggressive against us. And Stetson's going to play that style. So you hope that you kind of take care of business early in the game and you're not sitting there nursing a 1 run lead in the 8th because anything can happen at that point. One guy I did want to mention for Auburn that I didn't get to earlier was Cade Fisher. Cade Fisher was a starter for Auburn at the beginning of the year. He's a transfer from University of Florida, but he is one of the more used bullpen guys, a lefty for Auburn. And he pitched against us last year in the College World Series. I don't know if you guys remember that. When Caglione didn't make it, but through an inning, Fisher came in and we played against four innings last year. We scored 3 off Fisher in the College World Series. Obviously, we got a lot different offensive team now than we had last year, but he is a guy we've seen before. So I thought that was interesting.
don't have a lot of the same pieces to run out there against them this time, though.
No, that we don't have a Makarevich or a Kozart or a Pennington. Do y'all remember at the beginning of the year I told you guys I thought we were going to hit for a higher average and way less home runs? We did it. We've hit
290,
290 as a team. We gotta find
63 home runs.
Gotta find a little bit of juice. Gotta find
I'll
some
take the
juice.
home runs. Well, I think that's one of the surprising things about Durham is I know that we only played one game, but I was surprised that Novi didn't get an at bat. We got to have just some injection, just some s- for even the opposing pitcher to think, wow, this guy might hit this ball to 400 feet, and it's just really not there at all. Um, So again, hopefully someone can step up, and we know Sosa has the ability. We know a lot of these guys have the ability, but it just seems like, and Cal said it earlier that normally when the weather warms up, balls start flying off the bat a little more, and that's just not been the case for us, and in the at least in the month of May.
And I did understand why we gave Lanfear the at bat late against Malstead instead of Novi. I don't know if y'all caught the stat on television, but left-handers hit over 300 off Malstead, who's like the probably All American closer for Clemson, and righties hit under $1.70 off of Moustead. So I know that's the book said to go to a left-handed hitter there, and I guess your option really off the bench was Lamphere or really just Drew Lamphere, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I
Ocean
would
for
go
it.
for
It's just
Gardner Webb.
Lamphere.
Yep. Yeah, because Osenfor already started the game at DH, so that was we we were really kind of limited there with left-handed bats against a guy who's as good against right-handers as anybody in the country. All right, let's make some predictions. We're not going to do a pitcher and hitter of the week this week. We only play one game. We can't just be passing out awards like they're candy. Um, so this week, what? How do you guys think this thing's going to shake out?
I don't know. Can you do a if prediction?
You can do whatever you want to. This is our damn show.
If we beat Stetson, we win the regional.
I actually knew what you were going to say before that came out of your mouth because I was thinking the same thing.
Really? I like that. Um, I don't know. I was kind of hoping we were going back to old Wesley with the the reverse. What reverse psychology on them?
Man, I tell you, Will Wade, he's got all my negative uh, you know, pack feelings out. It's all positive now. But I do think to the whole show that Stetson's a really good baseball team, and I live in Wilmington, so UNCW. I think UNCW and Stetson are similar in a lot of ways. They have now Stetson has a more storied, going to super regionals, but they have really good baseball players, and again, I think if Marone can give us a strong start again, I guess we could throw Dom. Who knows? But if Marone can give us a strong start, 7+ innings, I really think that puts us on track to to beat Auburn. And then on the second day, assuming we play Auburn, and then I really like our staff when we get in deep in these this regional. I like our staff compared to the other guys when you look at the depth. Um, Again, we wish Van Dam could have got some live innings in Durham. That would have been positive. But really like our entire staff if we were to get into that Sunday and Monday games, in my opinion. So to me, it all hinges on how we play the first game and how deep the starter goes against Stetson. Again, we
I
don't want it to be a 1-0 game in the seventh inning either. We don't need that.
yeah. I really feel like our pitching is going to travel well. I think we've been playing pretty good, quite good defense lately. Certainly in the infield we have. Head's been pretty special, and we'll forget a couple of those balls in left field. But overall, I think we've been playing pretty good defense, and I think we're capable of pitching well. But man, we've got to hit the freaking ball and score some runs. Um, and it's not even like you can't even say we got to get guys on base because we're getting guys on base like you know, it, pretty good clips. It seems like. I mean, I forgot in that Clemson game how many guys leadoff guys did we get on? I mean, it's a bunch,
A bunch.
and and don't do anything with them. So either don't get the bunt down or don't get the guy moved over, or just
That's
don't put
just
the ball
again,
in play. It's very
again,
frustrating.
that's the frustrating thing when we looked at the roster at the beginning of the season. We said, okay, where's the power coming from? So all three of us assume, okay, maybe we're going to kind of change our strategy of how we're going to get guys across the bases, and we never did. It's just like we're a
Yeah,
115, 120 home run team, and that's not even close to what we are
And I
today.
think obviously Luke can run. I mean, I mean, he's great on the base pass. Ty Head's 5 for 5 in stolen bases. Like,
Well, Decrecio, you assume he can run. I mean, he's a Division I athlete. He's
he's
small.
he's
You
he's had
assume he
he's
can
had a
run.
he's had a hamstring deal going
Yeah,
on.
I was frustrated
yeah.
the other night. I think it was when it was actually when we had Austin Ford on third there, and we hit into the double play with with runners on first and third, we hit into a double play that Austin
Is
Fort
that
didn't
is
score
that
from third.
is
Hebner
that the
hits
one
into a
where
double
Decrecio
play.
did? Is that the one where Decrecio didn't advance on the drop ball on the?
No. I'm talking, and this at bat is where we have first and third, and Head gets Hebner hits into a double play. But like, why the hell do you not take second with Head? I mean, the
Yeah,
dude
Yeah.
can run. Like, go
yeah.
ahead and swipe the bag. They already think Hebner's going to bunt anyway. Maybe you fake squeeze, make the catcher peek at third. It's going to be really hard to throw out Ty Head if you got to peek, make sure he's not barreling down the line. Because I mean, Hebner, if there's anything Hebner's a great suspect for, it's that he will bunt. So, like,
Yeah.
if he shows bunt, do you not think you're going to get some movement on the infield? Do you not think the catcher he better peek toward third base and make sure that he hadn't just flat out missed the squeeze, and that maybe you can take second base, or it's a better option to just let Hebner swing away and one hop it to the shortstop. I
Yeah.
I, I,
Yeah.
ugh. So,
Yeah.
Out of all the analytics available, you would think that there would be some strategy going on there.
I mean, the fake bunt still is a great play. I mean, hell, if he throws you out, he throws you out. But, wait, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to see who does again, assuming that we're able to win and move on. It's gonna be fun to watch who does step up for us. And
looks like a little taller wall, but Plainsman Park, where the Tigers play, is 315 down the left field line. It
well, I
is.
saw something. There was some comment on X about the SEC about how to some comment about moving your wall in 30 feet.
It's a
Because like
very hitterish park.
Georgia had a short porch too.
They
Yeah.
did. Auburn is 315 to left, 331 to right, and 360 in the right center gap. So left center is the deepest part of the park at 385. But
We got nobody that hits it there anyway.
yeah, no, we don't do that.
What
So,
was y'all? What was y'all's pick? Did y'all pick?
I actually agree with you wholeheartedly,
Oh,
Wesley. I think
okay.
if we beat the lefty from Stetson, we're going to go ahead and take the regional. I just
I like that. I didn't really. I was going to say we go 0-2 and we're back in Raleigh. We're going to have the next pod talking about how many guys we're going to have, how many
Man,
guys
yeah,
are going to
never,
get back on the team.
never doubt Avent. Never
How
doubt it.
Central Connecticut got their first quad one win of the year.
Yeah. No.
Oh
I
gosh.
mean, everybody was frustrated after the Stanford series, rightfully so. Everybody was frustrated after the Clemson game, but I mean, granted, Clemson is a top. I think Clemson's a top 10 team. I don't think they're ranked 14th or 15th. But this is when Avent performs his best, when everybody doubts him. So I can't imagine any other outcome than Avent going and winning this damn regional.
This new positive Wesley, I'm getting on board with it. I tell you, I'm here for it. Wesley, my man Wesley, had a little one-on-one time with Will Wade. This just changed his whole damn outlook on the back. I'm telling you, he's back.
He's back.
Nah, this is all on Avent, man. We get too down on Avent. We do. Everybody gets too down. In my opinion, that's just my opinion.
Hey, one little fun thing about the about if we are able to beat Stetson in game one, 7 o'clock first pitch Friday night. By the way, the game against presumably Auburn, but the Auburn Central Connecticut winner would be at 9 o'clock on Saturday night.
No, we're not. We're not
God,
7 o'clock, are we? We're 2 o'clock, aren't we?
I'm sorry, we're 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
9 o'clock if we win. So I don't know if Wesley can stay up that late.
9 o'clock
Hey,
for
we got
the
time. I might
Saturday.
drive. I might be able to drive down there after my
9
Saturday
o'clock Eastern.
morning round of
9 o'clock
golf.
Eastern.
Saturday games at 9 p.m. at night.
Well, we got to win first, or we could play at 3 West. But
Oh,
not
wow.
9 o'clock. If we knock off the Hatters, play at 9 o'clock on Saturday night.
I don't mind staying up on the weekend. I got a job, man. Y'all. I don't know what y'all do.
I'm at my job right now.
Hey, I got another stat for y'all about Auburn.
Let it rip.
Auburn is one of 6 poultry science schools in the country, along with NC State. Can y'all name the other 4?
Iowa State.
Nope. No.
Arkansas.
Arkansas, yes.
That's Arkansas is my backup school, by the way. Got to come
They're
once.
very, very good people in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
No, not Georgia. Got to be Georgia.
Georgia, yes.
Yeah, but not Clemson. I'm thinking.
No, Clemson, no,
Yeah.
absolutely not. The other two are
Virginia
other
Tech.
two. Nope, nope. They dissolved poultry science years ago. The other two are Mississippi State and A&M. That's your six poultry science schools in the United States.
Huh.
Good people in Starkville too.
I bet
Yes,
Iowa State's got a swine school though.
they do. But a lot of the universities now, because they get these damn, I can't say whatever liberal chancellors, and they dissolve the specific programs, and they just include them in animal science. So these six
Uh,
schools have held strong for decades.
I like it.
So and the reason NC State would have been the same way, but about 7 years ago, the Prestige family out of Clinton donated $10 million specifically to the poultry science program to make sure that that wasn't grouped in animal science, so that there was actually a specialty bachelor's degree for poultry science.
My daddy was a
That was a good fact. I enjoyed that, Wesley.
my daddy was a poultry science major at NC State. Were
I
you a
was
poultry science major, Wes?
Hell yeah.
I thought you were. I'm making sure.
I was a poultry science major myself. 19
Really?
when I was 12 years old, my dad built 4 Purdue chicken houses.
I feel you.
I grew up in the poultry house. I didn't need to go to school for it.
I can tell you, Crux, because just like you guys, you're on an airplane all the time, and it makes for a very interesting conversation when someone asks you what you studied in school, and you say poultry science. And probably the best, maybe the worst question I've ever heard is they said after that, so you studied cows? Like, no, we did not. We did not study cows.
Yeah, yeah.
Me and Adam have taken a trip to Auburn before. We went to see Mr. Keats and his boys hoop it up down there against Bruce Pearl. It's a
How'd
fun
that
little
turn out for
town.
you?
I mean, and
About like
I
you
tell you what,
expected.
I will say, I'm not a big Auburn fan. Okay, um, I pull for all the land grants generally. A lot of them that Wesley just mentioned that have a poultry science program. I pull for the land grants. Auburn is one that I choose to not pull for. Um, but I do like Bruce Pearl.
I do too.
Why don't you? I need to know the story. Why do you hate Auburn? I don't
Oh
mind
man,
Auburn.
it's a long story.
I don't mind Auburn.
Yeah, it's a long story. I'll tell you off air sometime. But anyway, it's not that I dislike them so much, but I've anyway. They're not my favorite. I know a lot of great people. I got a lot of great friends that went to Auburn, though, and but I do like Bruce Pearl. I sat beside him on
Hey,
the plane on the way back
oh,
from the Final Four, and but I told him how much I appreciated him speaking his mind. You know, he doesn't bite his tongue and says his thoughts publicly, which I appreciate from somebody that has those sentiments.
I'm a big
yeah, I've
Bo
always liked
Jackson
Pearl.
fan too, for what it's worth.
Big Bo
Yeah,
Jackson fan. Yeah.
I've always kind of liked Auburn. I will say, if we're talking about conference realignment, if Boo Corrigan needs me to go in front of the committee to say, hey, we're already grouped with these SEC schools in poultry science, maybe that is a great selling point for North Carolina State University.
Man, I don't know why it wouldn't be. I agree with you.
Hey, North Carolina is the number one
We
state in the
get
country, and pounds of chicken is produced. So there you go.
All right, hey, just for fun, we're going to do this quick, a little lightning round. We're going to go regional by regional, and we're going to just pick a winner. All right, Nashville Regional, Vanderbilt, Wright State, Louisville, and East Tennessee State. I got Vandy.
I got Vandy. I'd love to say Louisville, but I got Vandy.
Vandy,
All right, Austin Regional, Texas, Houston Baptist, UTSA, and Kansas State.
Texas.
Texas.
Texas. Hattiesburg, Southern Miss, Columbia,
Alabama.
Alabama, and Miami. That's a good regional.
Alabama.
I'll go Southern Miss.
I'm going to go with Bama as well. First 2 seed we picked. UCLA Regional, UCLA, Fresno State, UC Irvine, and Arizona State.
I'll go. Who's the 2 seed?
UC
UC
Irvine.
Irvine. I'll go
Yep.
UC Irvine.
All right. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna take a 3 seed. I'm gonna go with Arizona State.
I like that.
Hmm. I like that too. I'm gonna go Arizona State as well.
I want UC Irvine just so we're clear on that.
And UC
Just because
Okay.
I
Irvine is
said,
the anteaters.
I don't know what they
yeah.
are.
They're
Are
the
they
anteaters. I
anteaters?
did not know that.
All right. Tallahassee, Florida State, Bethune Cookman, Northeastern, and Mississippi State.
Man, Northeastern's won like 24. Is it
I
how many
know,
games?
like 26 or 7 in a row.
Tom Glavine's brothers, the coach. They beat us last time they came to Raleigh, and 2 years ago they swept us like we were nothing.
I kind of like Mississippi State in this regional, but I'm taking the Knowles, and the reason I'm gonna do that is because I think that Northeastern might put Mississippi State in the hole early and
Yeah, I'll go. I'll
get a
go.
loss on them. I'm gonna take the Knowles.
Knowles have
I'll
got
go for.
two. They got two aces
Yep.
that are
Yeah,
that
I'll
are.
go Florida. Florida State. They got a top three coach in the country too.
Yeah,
Florida,
I'm gonna go Florida State. I will say I think Mississippi State's playing with a little chip on their shoulder with a with a no coach.
no doubt. And the other thing about Florida State is you mentioned they got 2 aces. They probably don't. They're probably not throwing either one of them against Bethune Cookman.
That's 3 good teams in a regional though.
It is.
Yeah.
All
That
right.
might be the best. That might be the best regional there that's out there.
Oxford, Mississippi. Got Ole Miss, Murray State, Georgia Tech, Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky's like 42-12, if I remember correctly, but I'm taking Ole Miss.
Man,
I'm taking Georgia Tech.
I'm going Georgia Tech just because of Jamie Quinn.
Okay. Shout out, Quinn. All right.
I like it.
Corvallis, Oregon State, St. Mary's, TCU, USC.
I got
Give
a
me
little. I got a little fun fact about this. How about um, well, Oregon State is the what seed? The 8 seed.
8 seed.
They got the national seed over Oregon, and they were 0-4 versus Oregon this year.
That is a fact.
I got the Beavs though.
Beavs.
I'm going TCU. I don't believe in West Coast baseball anymore.
The
Oh,
interesting thing about Oregon State is they're independent. You know, they don't play in the conference.
yeah, they have
We're
no
still in the
need.
West. They're still in the West Coast.
Yeah, they beat
Um,
it. Hey, we always be thankful they beat the Heels 2 years in a row in the final championship game in
Thank,
Omaha.
thank God.
and that's why I'm picking the Beavs. All right. Athens. We got Georgia, Duke, Binghamton, and Oklahoma State. Hitters Park, deep bullpen. I'm taking Duke.
I am too.
Dude, Duke's due for a breakout, I mean, Duke is without question Duke. I'll take Duke all day on that.
We're all taking Duke in the Georgia Regional. I love it. All right, Chapel Hill, Oklahoma, Nebraska,
Oh my God,
Holy
Jesus
Cross.
Christ! I mean, Carolina's the only school in the country that can get screwed and not get in one of the top 4 seeds and still have the easiest path to Omaha in the country. God damn, Carolina.
I'm gonna take the Heels. I think they might be the best team.
Too many arms in that one. All right, Baton Rouge. I'll take the Hills too. Baton Rouge, LSU, Little Rock, Dallas Baptist, Rhode Island. I ain't nobody there. None of them teams are beating LSU and Baton Rouge. Can't see it happening.
Nope, I agree.
No, LSU.
All right, Clemson, South Carolina Upstate, West Virginia, Kentucky.
Hey, is the center fielder is it Ken Lorella?
Yeah,
I wish somebody knocked that son of a gun out. Hey man, did you see him talking junk to Luke? That really
I,
fired me up.
I did. It got me fired up too.
I hope they
I
lose. I'm not. I can't. I refuse to pick them because of that guy.
all right, I'm not taking them either. I can't stand Canarella or
I
Listy. I don't
can't.
like either one of them. Listy won't get out of the way. Where's his battle gear up there? Give me
And then
country.
what kind of a name's Purify? I mean, there's so much I don't like about that team.
And remember last year the choreographed,
Yeah,
Oh God, that was horrible.
I just
the dugout choreography. Country roads take me home.
Metal Mama.
I'll take
yeah.
yeah, I'll take West Virginia.
I'm
I'm
going
gonna
Kentucky. I'm going Kentucky.
I'm trying to win this. There's a lot at stake here, so I'm gonna take the Tigers.
Oh my God, I'm going
There's a lot.
Kentucky.
There's a lot of lead up for nothing. Anyway,
I don't believe in Big 12 baseball either, so I'll go Kentucky.
Oregon, Utah Valley, Arizona, Cal Poly.
Tell you what, the Mustangs are playing good too.
I'm going to take the Ducks though.
I'll go with Oregon.
Mm.
I don't think they're any good, but I'll pick them.
I think all four of those teams aren't good.
I'm gonna go Arizona. Give me Arizona.
Yeah, I mean Arizona's a
I
respectable program.
almost went Cal Poly there, but I'm going Arizona.
Conway, Coastal Carolina, Fairfield, Florida, East Carolina.
That's a fun regional.
That is awesome. I did say I sent this to my brother-in-law. Let me pull it up.
There's going to be a lot of cold beer drink in Conway
Well,
this week.
They don't have enough. They don't have enough in that Cracker Box Stadium, though. I mean, there's not enough seats in there,
I
man.
sent this to my brother-in-law yesterday. I said East Carolina and Florida are both heading to Myrtle Beach for Coastal Carolina's regional. That might be the one place that has enough alcohol to handle those three fan bases.
Yeah, but the problem with Conway is what I don't get about Conway compared to UNCW is UNCW is actually the beach. Conway's like in Burgaw. Like it is not even at the beach. It's terrible. It's terrible. Like,
He said this
who
in
would-
Burgaw.
like you're like, hey Dad, we're 30 miles from the beach. Like, come on, it's not at the beach. It's not baseball at the beach. I mean, I think Coastal does a really good job of recruiting nationally. They got some really good players. Their catcher's a hell of a player. We saw him in Jacksonville. I think Florida's going to get more than they bargained for if they face Norby in the first game on Friday. I'm not sure if that's what's going to happen. But if Norby pitches the second game, Norby struck out 19 against Coastal Carolina earlier this year. So it's going to be an interesting regional. What happens there? I'm going to pick Coastal because I think they're a really good baseball team, and hell, they're a national champion. It's not like Coastal was some damn nobody in baseball. They're a damn good team, and I think Coastal's gonna win that regional, and Avent's going to pull it together in Auburn, and we're going to play in Conway, South Carolina here in 2 weeks.
I like it, Wes. I
Tell you
like
what,
it.
this new Wesley, I tell you what, it's wearing on me.
Picking mid majors to win regionals. He's ready to go play against them.
Bought back in on basketball.
I can't see. Florida's got so much talent. I just think that. I mean, those Jokers went to the tournament last year at like 29-26, and we ended up in Omaha. I think they're going to figure it out this weekend in Conway. And I think the Gators. I
got the Gators too.
All right. I think this is going to be a good matchup too. Tennessee, Miami, Ohio, Wake Forest, Cincinnati.
What part of that you think is going to be the good matchup?
I think Wake Forest could sneak in there and
Yeah, I honestly,
get Tennessee a fit.
I was honestly hoping we would get the Knoxville regional because Tennessee's so bad on defense and we put the ball in play. We don't strike out a lot. So I really was hoping that was the regional that we would get. And Auburn's a very good defensive team. So I don't know that I mean, it's hard because we didn't play Wake this year, which seems like it should be a sin.
It should be.
But how the hell can you not play Wake Forest when that just doesn't make any sense. Whatever, conference realignment, maybe these things get settled in the next few years. But I'll take Wake because I don't think Tennessee, and I know, honestly, I've not looked at any statistics for Wake, but I'm assuming they put the ball in play because they always do. I like Wake Forest in that regional.
I think if it was in Winston-Salem, I might would pick Wake, but Tennessee's tough to beat in Knoxville. So
the defending champs.
Rocky Top for me. All right,
Yeah,
Auburn.
Rocky Top for me as well.
Auburn regional. I'm taking the Pack. I'm just going to go ahead and come out and say
Oh,
it.
I'm taking
100%.
the hill with Stetson. Take the Pack.
All right, and then my backup school, Fayetteville, Arkansas, North Dakota State, the Jayhawks, and the Creighton Blue Jays.
Man,
Only Arkansas gets regionals like that.
I know.
But
Creighton's
I,
going
I,
to
but
be
I,
back. Creighton's going to be in Omaha before any of the other teams. Uh, they're going to
yeah,
be back. They're going to be back.
yes.
They're going to be back Saturday night or Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Could you could you imagine a Creighton home game sitting inside of the stadium with
Yeah,
Charles Schwab.
uh, 100 people?
Yeah.
It's literally like it's not even. There's more people at batting practice for Omaha. But yeah, I think Arkansas's got a lot of good people, man. I like Arkansas a lot.
I think Arkansas is going to roll in that regional. They might score
Yeah.
40 runs.
Yeah. I agree.
So
Who does Arkansas line up with in the supers?
in the supers, they line up with the Tennessee, Wake Forest, Cincinnati regional.
Wow.
Ooh, yeah, just for fun. This is who the regionals match up with. Just for fun, just for your information. Vandy, Southern Miss regional, Texas, UCLA regional, Ole Miss, Georgia regional, Florida State, Oregon State, UNC, Oregon, LSU, Clemson, um, Tennessee, Arkansas, Coastal, Auburn. So there you have it. God, when you look at it that way, it's almost impossible not to see UNC in Omaha to me. I just can't.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
almost like the committee maybe was like, we're not going to make Carolina a top four seed. We're going to put them here just to make that path a little easier.
I mean, ooh. I mean, I don't even feel like any of those 7 teams that they could match up with to get to Omaha are like even that enticing of matchups. Then you look at like, I mean, Ole Miss versus Ole Miss or Georgia Tech versus Georgia. And I mean, those are like some really good series. Like, I mean, the UNC series. I mean, that's about boring. Um, I don't know. Maybe they'll trip and fall this week. We'll see. Nebraska is capable of playing well, that's for sure. And uh, Oklahoma has shown some flashes too, but doesn't seem like a whole lot of resistance there. All right, anything you boys want to add before we get out of here?
I got to go home.
All right. All right, let's wrap it up. Go Pack.
Go Pack.